All right, so use the sum and difference formula. So this is a difference. This is 45 degrees minus 30 degrees. It needs to be angle measures that you know from the unit circle. And you know 45 and 30. So in our difference formula for sine, it's sine cosine minus cosine sine and we know all those values. Sine of 45 degrees is square root of 2 over 2. Cosine of 45 degrees is square root of 2 over 2. 30 degrees, cosine is square root of 3 over 2. And sine is 1 over 2. So this is square root of 6 over 2 minus square root of 2 over 2. You can put all that over 2. Square root of 6 minus square root of 2. Done. So now 195. You come up with two angles from the unit circle that equal 195. So that's 225 minus 30 is 195. And the formula for cosine is cosine, cosine, sine, sine. Plus sine, sine. $225, that's like the 45-degree angle in quadrant 3. So that is square root of 2 over 2. It's in quadrant 3, so cosine is negative. Sine of that same angle is also negative. Square root of 2 over 2. 30 degrees. Cosine is square root of 3 over 2. It's positive because it's quadrant 1. Sine is 1 over 2. Also positive because it's quadrant 1. So this is negative square root of 6 over 2 minus the square root of 2 over 2. You could combine that. And you're done. So when they are in radians, I like to take all the angles that we know, like pi over 2, pi over 3, pi over 4, pi over 6, and make them all be over 12. So that's 6 twelfths, 4 twelfths, 3 twelfths, and 2 twelfths. Now it's a little bit easier to see how you can get 7 by adding 4 pi and 3 pi, you get 7 pi. And since it's a sine, it is sine, cosine, cosine, sine. plus, so it's plus. Cosine sine. Which, rather than the pi over 12s, you would want to think of that as pi over 3, pi over 4. So sine of pi over 3, square root of 3 over 2. Cosine of pi over 3, 1 over 2. Now for the pi over 4, they're both square root of 2 over 2. So that's square root of 6 over 4 plus square root of 2 over 4. So keeping the all the different pi over 12 notations, I'm going to reuse them here for this problem. This is 5 pi over 12, which we can get by adding 3 and 2. So that's the same thing as pi over 4, the 3 pi over 12, and the 2 pi over 12. And for tangent, it's tangent pi over 4 plus tangent pi over 6 all over 1 minus tangent times tangent. So tangent pi over 4, that is 1. Tangent pi over 6, that's 1 over square root of 3. Tangent pi over 4, we just said was 1, times tangent pi over 6 is 1 over square root of 3. 1 times 1 over square root of 3. You could rationalize that. You can also just leave it. It would simplify, but okay.